Dude, your cams on WTF. Dodecaversary, let's go. Dodecaversary, let's go.
Good evening, everyone. Hope that wasn't too loud. It looked very loud in the mixer. I apologize if it was. I did not mean to scare you. Good evening, Anderson. Good evening, listeners. I don't know what I opened with, but good evening, listeners is definitely what I wanted to open with. Yo. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Stevie. Hello, Jordan. Stevie, thank you for the 18-month resubscription. Jordan, thank you for the 20-month resubscription. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you, Sarah, for the bit.
It's podcast Andrew, my favorite leets goo pogi wagi froggy less than 3.
Very true. I hope you all have some tea or something refreshing have myself a cup of sweetened sakura tea that I will proceed to take a sip of. Cooled down just a little bit. That is what I like. That is what I like. Let me get this swapped around. Give me 1 second, listeners. Nope. Perfect. That's some good cider. I thought for a second to do the Germa thing, but another time. Another night, another stream. Don't worry, it'll happen. A classless bloke? Oh no. Hello. I hope everything has been set up correctly. I hope so. Hello. Welcome to the stream. He's quite suspicious. Oh. Where's my cushion? Perfect. If at any point in time audio levels are unsatisfactory, please do not be afraid to let me know. I will adjust to whatever is comfortable for you listeners, whatever you would like. It's actually not Bath & Body. I looked. I couldn't find a Sakura-themed candle at Bath & Body. It's just a candle. I don't want to slam you. Okay, no, go ahead, go ahead. I'll wait. Go ahead. Yeah, that's Keanu. That's John Wick. I thought I would read you some classic American fiction. Ah, perfect. Perfect. Why don't we go ahead and get started with our first book of the night, Supermega Saves the Troops, by Ryan Magee and Matt Watson. Supermega Saves the Troops is a work of fiction. Names, characters, businesses, events, brands, and incidents are the products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual brands, is purely coincidental or of a purely parody nature. To any lawyer reading this, it's just a goof, bro. Figured I should get that out of the way. Let me also pull up my phone, which is beside me, so that I may read chat. What this? I will put on a hat for you. There you go. Forward. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Joseph R. Biden, 1942 to 2022. Act 1. Dawn of Destiny. Chapter 1. Sunshine, Sports, and Showers. Our story starts on a day like any other. The sun was shining through the Los Angeles smog. The pool boy was plucking crumpled leaves from the surface of the water by hand and 2 matching 2013 Lamborghinis were parked in the driveway of the Supermega Plex. The owners of those pristine automobiles were in the front yard, playing a game of good old-fashioned one-on-one American baseball. A gentle breeze was blowing through the Beverly Hills hills, and Ryan Magee had just scored his first touchdown of the day against his best friend and non-romantic life partner, Matthew Watson. "Gotcha!" Ryan exclaimed, a hint of cockiness to his voice. "Now don't think you've won just yet," Matt replied. "I've still got a few tricks up my sleeves." "We'll see about that." The sun was high, and the game had only just begun. Matt grasped the Babe Ruth autographed baseball between his fingers, carefully avoiding contact with the 3 Super Bowl rings he had won in a match of billiards. "Here comes the Rock!" Matt yelled. With a swift stroke of his arm, the ball soared across the pitcher's mound and past Ryan's ear. Score! "I told you I still had some tricks up my sleeves," Matt playfully teased. "Shove it up your ass, cunt." After an hour of rigorous play and a few glasses of Long Island iced tea, the game had drawn to a tie, and the boys decided it was time to head inside and hit the showers. Now, as you may know, one-on-one American baseball can surely work up a sweat. This is especially true for 2 red-blooded American male YouTubers who, in their 20s, are at their self-described peak shape and the pinnacle of their form. "Let's get inside and hit the showers, bud," Matt said eagerly. "Last one in, a rotten egg." Ryan gleefully raced to the front door and ran up to the spiral staircase leading up to the Tower of Showers. With some help from Andre, the Filipino pool boy, the men shed their stinky, sweat-soaked apparel and got their clean on. Hot water sprayed across Ryan's supple breasts as the droplets traversed the rolls of his back. Matt slid a bar of Irish Spring soap across his washboard 8-pack and lathered his penis in the suds. He squirted a dollop of Axe 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash into the palms of his hands and rubbed them together, whipping up a thick, scented foam. Matt ran his fingers through his pal's wet locks, taking his time to massage deep. Once the filth was rinsed from his hair, Ryan turned and squirted some hot eucalyptus oil across Matt's shoulders. Working his way down, Ryan massaged the hot mess into every muscle and joint of his friend's tender body, careful not to miss a spot. That's good reading so far, listeners. Hello, listeners, I'm back. I apologize, Kira has been rather rambunctious and will probably be making some noises.
Bless this chat, for it has sinned and will continue sinning right after this commercial break.
I hope you guys are proud of yourselves for silencing the reading stream. I hope you're very happy. Again, apologize if my feline friend makes some noise. Hello, Aiden. Welcome to the stream. Will this be uploaded to YouTube? Probably, but we'll see at a later date. Continuing on, if you don't mind. I think things were getting rather steamy on this 4th page of the book. Listeners, I will catch up on chat every now and again. I will read your messages. I will see your 1984s. They will not be immediate because I have a book to read. Man, getting clean sure does work up an appetite, Ryan said. You can say that again, old chum. What do you say we go to Mussolini's and get a couple pies and martinis? You fly with that, homie? Yeah, a cheese and bread sandwich with a triple vodka martini would sure hit the spot right about now. Ryan slapped his rotund belly, letting out a hearty guffaw, hot water drops reverberating onto his pal's face. All right, you goober, let's finish the shower and get going. Sorry, my child is making noise in the window. Sorry about the interruption, listeners. I've returned. Let's get back to that scene, shall we? Matt ran a soapy washcloth from Ryan's neck to his shaft, cleaning his best friend's olive skin. Ryan poked and slid his slippery fingers between each of Matt's toes, provoking a giggle and a few chuckles, too. Is it hot in here, or is it just me? Ryan laughed, turning the water temperature to a balmy 210 degrees. This hot water sure feels nice, Matt said. With a few more bubbles, some suds, and a handful of giggles and squeaks, the boys climbed out of the showers and grabbed their embroidered cashmere Gucci towels. Drying off and playfully spanking one another. Not gay. The guys toweled themselves to completion and suited up in their Supermega t-shirts that they bought for a really nice price at https www.supermegamart.net/shop. And they said they fit really good and are comfortable, too. Ready to go? Matt asked his pal. 1 second, bud. Let me finish this last coat of nail polish. What color, sorry. That color is absolutely fabulous. Is that sweater weather? With a slick grin, Ryan retorted. Mojito madness, actually. My favorite shade. He puffed a few delicate breaths onto his drying toes, the polish hiding any last hint of the true yellow color under his nails. Of course, I should have known, Matt laughed. The boys laced up their Air Force Ones and climbed into one of Ryan's purple Lamborghinis. As they peeled out of the driveway of the Super Megaplex, Skrillex blaring from the speakers, Ryan and Matt knew life was good. They were the two most successful YouTube stars in the world, living the dream. But what these boys didn't know is that their dream would soon become a nightmare. Chapter 2. Whining and Dining. After the butterfly doors lowered to a close, Ryan tossed his keys to the fresh-faced valet boy. Gracias, Matt said, throwing him a handful of loose change. If you're good, I might even tip a whole $1 on the way out. Looks like those shoes are in need of a good shine, Ryan said to the valet boy, hocking a loogie onto the poor lad's shoes. prank. With a laugh, a wink, and a smile, the duo entered the establishment, ready to gorge on some grub. Ryan Magee, Matthew Watson, my two favorite customers, exclaimed a large Italian man with a big mustache and a button nose. The Italians aren't good for much, but they sure do know how to cook. Sometimes. Your table and cocktails are ready over here. He led the boys to the VIY section. That's very important to YouTubers. Please, have a seat. Your food's almost ready. The usual? Ryan asked. Indeed. Meat sauce and a plate of chocolate ice cream, the Italian man chuckled. Adjusting his bib, Ryan took a swig of his martini. He howled with delight, eyes watering. Now that's a good martini. Matt took a hefty sip. Jesus fucking Christ! That is a good drink. Ryan held up his glass and looked his pal in the eyes. You know something, Matt? Things have been pretty rad lately. Matt smiled at his friend. You can say that again. Winning the Nobel Peace Prize twice was legend. Wait for it. Dairy. And finally hitting 2 billion subscribers on YouTube was the cherry on top. That was awesome, but I still can't believe they renamed the Lincoln Memorial to the Matt and Ryan Memorial. Doesn't get much better than this. The two clinked glasses and downed the rest of their hot, grown-up juice. After finishing their supper and slurping up a few more drinks, the euphoria surrounding the table had reached peak levels. Maybe it was just the warm spring night, but the air seemed to buzz, alive with the energy of the room. Matt and Ryan didn't even mind that their conversation and laughter could be heard all the way from the poor people section of the restaurant. All right, about ready to bounce? Matt asked. Let's go, Ryan replied, doing his best da-baby voice. Before skipping on the check, Ryan took one last swig of his pizza and cracker soup and left an uplifting fortune from a fortune cookie on the table. Now that's a tip somebody could actually use. By this point, the alcohol was working full force in Matthew and Ryan's bodies. With blood alcohol counts of 4.8 and 5.2 respectively, it was time to hit the road and get home to catch a rerun of their favorite movie, The Taking of Pelham 123, I-23. I'm not sure. 2009 action thriller film. Somebody could check on that for me? The Taking of Pelham I-23, is that it? Okay. The valet boy approached, keys in hand. However, upon noticing just how intoxicated Matt and Ryan were, he started to pull the keys away. Sorry, gentlemen, but it would be irresponsible for me to allow you to operate a motor vehicle in your current state. With a swift punch and a push to the ground, the keys were retrieved. The boys high-fived, and Ryan hocked one final loogie onto the valet's shoes. You missed a spot, Ryan snarked. You Supermega boys are always a hoot. Get home safe now, you hear? The valet boy responded warmly. Ryan rolled down his window, shouting, "These nuts!" before hitting the freeway. My, what goofy lads those Supermega boys are. And that is some mighty fine tea. Cruising at a comfortable 135 miles per hour. Good thing Chad has reminded me to drink my tea because it's almost going cold. Thank goodness I'm drinking it while it's still hot. Nice. Thank you very much for reminding me, guys. Thank you, Stevie. Where were we? Cruising at a comfortable 135 miles per hour, the boys were having even more laughs as they sped through intersections, narrowly missing pedestrians and making crank phone calls on their Bluetooth headsets. You know, the little ones that uncles would wear in 2006. They knew that life couldn't be any better. How could it be when they were also blasting the unreleased Wu-Tang album, given to them by their good friend and financial guru, Martin Shkreli? Is that how you pronounce his name? I don't care. He's a dickhead. The third track on the album had just wrapped when, out of nowhere, a building found its way in the path of our two protagonists. Faster than you can say, oops, the automobile slammed into the concrete siding of the Western Federal Credit Union. The impact was grim. The Lamborghini was crushed in an instant, its weak metal, cheap components and poor Italian design no match for the speed of the crash. The tires popped like overfilled balloons at a child's pizza party, exploding with eardrum-shattering force. Metal wrapped around brick like Matt's ex-wife during their marriage, wrapping her legs around her boyfriend's face every night. The heavy engine was thrust through the gaping hole where the hood once was, spewing boiling oil. A Louis Vuitton duffel bag in the trunk filled with $350,000 in gold doubloons, earmarked for donation at the local children's hospital, vanished from existence in a fiery inferno. Slabs of cinder block were blasted at speeds well beyond a bullet train, terminating the lives of every poor soul within the doomed Western Federal Credit Union. The sound of their screams were drowned by the horrific decibels of the explosion as it reached levels well beyond the roar of an F-16 fighter jet. Every employee, including the general manager, Andy, perished in the deadly spray of burning gasoline and concrete debris. In the days to follow, as firefighters worked to clear the smoldering remains of the building, the only surviving remnants of human life recovered would be a celebratory cake in the employee fridge, the message saying, "Congrats on the promotion, Andy," still preserved in white frosting. "Well, that's gonna hurt in the morning," Ryan said as the burning hellfire of a carnage rolled to a stop. "Yeah, louder for the people in the back," Matt laughed. The two shimmied out of the burning, charred skeleton of the automobile, dusting themselves off. "Shit, got some drywall dust on my Supermega thank you bag t-shirt," Ryan moaned, his voice anguished. "Oh, don't worry. The material of the shirt is high-quality linen, and you can easily wash stains out and retain full textile quality," Matt reassured his pal. "Anyways, want me to call an Uber Black?" With a chuckle, the two walked to the curb to wait for their ride home, blind to the nightmare that was about to unfold around them. You guys enjoying the story so far? I sure hope so. I'm enjoying reading it. What a little water to wet my whistle. Chapter 3. A Perfect Evening. Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the stream. I am reading Supermega Saves the Troops by Ryan Magee and Matt Watson. Hope you boys are doing well. Just in the nick of time, Matt said as he plopped onto the genuine leopard hide couch with a bowl of Orville Redenstein's popcorn. Ryan cuddled up to his buddy and took a handful of popcorn. We didn't even miss the opening credits. Nice. Andre, their Filipino pool boy, knocked on the door to ask if they needed anything. Yeah, Andre, how about you get me $1 million, Ryan laughed, high-fiving Matt for the success of the zinger. Andre returned with a crisp $1 million bill, which Ryan balled up in his fist and shoved into the pocket of his loose-fitting, potentially soiled, Walmart brand gym shorts. Tooting, Ryan found himself giggling with Matt, joining in on the fun. Andre, baby, can you please dim the lights? Our movie is starting, Matt requested. The room was dim, and the vibes were immaculate. Nothing was better than this. Two straight best friends, a big bowl of Orville Redenmeyer's popcorn, and a 2009 action thriller film directed by Tony Scott starring Dream Team actors Denzel Washington and John Hamm, with a budget of $100 million and a box office earning of $150 million. It had a running time of about 106 minutes, whereas the original 1974 film had a running time of 104 minutes. 45 minutes deep, and the movie was packing the punches. During a calmer scene, Ryan turned to Matt. Hey Matt, could you please pause it real quick? Gotta make some brown. Poop. Maybe some white. Semen. It's live TV, dumbass. I can't pause it. Call up the network. Tell them to stop the feed. They'll listen to us, obviously, Ryan said. You're right. I mean, they brought back Roseanne when we asked. Matt quickly speed dialed, my apologies, Comcast, and told them to shut the whole system down for a few minutes so his good friend Ryan could make some brown, poop, and maybe even a little white, semen. Within seconds, the movie and the entire broadcasting network was halted. When nature calls, Ryan waddled toward the Grecian bathroom, his sphincter puckered. Sitting on the commode, Ryan flipped through the latest edition of National Enquirer. Jennifer Aniston's lumpy mom bod was absolutely disgusting. It's called a diet, sweetie, Ryan chuckled to himself. He made 2 or 3 brown and wiped his bottoms free of any leftover brown. Shortly after, he made some white or two and buttoned his trousers. As Ryan finished drying his hands on the silk curtains, his pager went off. It flashed the message, SOS.
Fart noise but wet and louder with echo.
Ryan smacked his teeth. Bugger off.
B.
Hey guys, maybe don't fucking mute me when new people come in and follow. Maybe, like, don't fucking do that. Or... No, it was a ding, right? Okay, well, like... That was before. I know, you can't... I know, but, like... That was really unfortunate. Hello, my mom. Welcome to the stream. Stop making me fucking hydrate. I'm going to piss your fucking pants. Correct, sir. Or madam. Or in between. Or non-conforming. Now, I'm very sorry for newcomers to the stream, but we're going to get back to the great American literature of the night. Now I'm embarrassed to read. Now I'm embarrassed to continue reading because... You may request. I might get around to it. I don't read a whole bunch. This is a special April Fool's stream. Not April Fools. None of us are fools. This is a special April 1st stream. You're right. The stream must continue. I must continue reading The Great American... Stop making me... I'm gonna piss your pants! Stop it! I will revoke hydration privileges, I swear to God. Fucking stop. Back to the book. We just left where we left off. Ryan had just finished wiping some extra brown off of his flip-flops. Oh, and he got a message on his pager that said SOS. What could have been so important as to interrupt this most sacred tradition of watching The Taking of Pelham I-23 2009 action thriller film with his best friend at Matt H. Watson? Ryan took a moment to cool off from this intrusion. When he finally joined Matt in the living room, he found his buddy laughing out loud to a Joe Rogan, Spotify comedian, podcast clip. "What's got you in stitches, my good friend?" Ryan asked. "Nothing, brother. Just watching some Joe. He sure is insightful." Matt paused the clip to save it for later and patted the cushion on the couch closest to him. "How about we get back to..." Before Matt could finish his sentence, his pager began to beep loudly. It read the same eerie message as his companion's. SOS. Matt rolled his eyes and threw his attention back to the movie screen. Cracking his pager in two like shrimp on rice, he dropped it to the floor and picked up the remote. "Are we ready to go?" Matt asked. "Hit it." The film continued, and so did the fun. John Hamm was perfectly cast as Ryder, and his performance brought Ryan to tears. Looking to Matt during the scene where Ryder threatens to kill a passenger, lest Garber confess his sins, Ryan softly whispered, "How can life be this good? And all with my best friend to share it with. Great things are on the horizon. I can just feel it. We deserve it. Especially after making the tough decisions we've had to make this year. You're right. Firing Justin, Jackson, Layton, and Don did put a damper on things, but now we're making more money than ever. Kiss me, you fool." Just kidding. Not really. Yeah, that would be weird, and I wouldn't do that kind of thing. Yeah, I know, I was just joking. That would be nasty. Snapping the two out of the cringe, a loud emergency alarm sounded from the television. The screen went black, and the letters SOS blinked followed by another line of text below. Matt and Ryan, answer phone /S. That means serious. What stupid shit is this? Can't a brother watch a movie in peace? Ryan lamented. Ugh, turn it off. Let's go to bed and finish the movie later, Matt said. We should probably hit the hay. It's been a long day, Ryan agreed with a sleepy look, the butter now dry and crusted around his chapped lips. Filled to the brim with Oscar Rottenhauser's popcorn, red wine, and giggles, the boys placed a bookmark in their magical movie night. The two got up from the resting place and made their way out of the home theater. Taking the monorail to the other end of the Supermegaplex to get to their bedroom, the boys brushed their teeth. They even had a contest to see who could brush their teeth the fastest, but Ryan won. Next up was shower time. The boys never go to bed without a nice hot shower. My apologies, I added the definition serious. That was my own addition. That was not written in the book. The authors, Matt Watson and Ryan Magee, probably meant sarcasm and not serious. My apologies. That is my fault. I'm very sorry. The two stripped to their birthday suits and hopped into the steaming oasis. Ryan lathered his dumpy body in rose oil, filling every crack, fold, and crease. Matt helped him get those hard-to-reach places, but, of course, a favor must always be returned. Ryan slowly dragged a soapy washcloth across his friend's naked body. The soft, wet fabric glided over the majesty of Matt's skeletal stature. Bubbles crowded the drain like groupies at a Sean Paul concert. Ryan squirted some Axe 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash into his open eyes and used his fingers to rub the soap into his eyeballs until they were squeaky clean. He passed the bottle to Matt, who took a big swig, gargled it, and swallowed. Gotta make sure the digestive system stays clean too, Matt laughed. At last, the soap and grime were gone, and all that remained were two clean, beautiful, young, white, straight men. Once Andre had tucked the two men into their respective top and bottom bunks, he gingerly placed a kiss on both of their tummies and turned off the lights. Another day for the books. While visions of Denzel Washington and John Hamm danced in their heads, Matt and Ryan drifted off into a deep and peaceful slumber. It was the perfect dream to end another perfect day. But what the boys couldn't know at that moment, snug and warm in their beds, was that dark events were already in motion. Events that would soon change their perfect dreams into a nightmare. Chapter 4. Swag to the Max. I'm sorry? The last line was events that would soon change their perfect dreams into a nightmare. Chapter 4. Swag to the Max. The soothing screech of roosters echoed through the long, cavernous halls of the Supermegaplex. Warm slivers of light peeked through the drapes, painting bright lines across the hardwood floor. In the master bedroom, not a creature was stirring. Ryan on top bunk and Matt on bottom, the duo snoozed the early morning hours away. Ryan rose first at only 10:15. Matt! Matt! Matt's crusty eyes cracked open. What is it? Someone hurled a brick through the window last night and take a look at what was taped to it, Ryan said, breathless with excitement. Matt beheld the glory that lay before him. In Ryan's big, meaty claws were a pair of golden tickets that read, 12-year anniversary screening of The Taking of Pelham I-23, 2009 action thriller film, Admission 1. Holy shit. Just as we were saying life couldn't get any better, Ryan exclaimed excitedly. Suddenly, a carrier pigeon soared through the broken window and landed graciously at the foot of the bed. It dropped a small envelope and returned to the heavens from whence it came. "Open it! Open it!" screamed a giddy Ryan. Matt ripped the envelope open like a juvenile chimpanzee and found the most fortunate of surprises within. 2 $15 off coupons to Men's Warehouse. Suitery! Christ almighty, we sure will look awfully dapper at the screening using these babies. Let's get a move on, Matt proclaimed. The boys put on their matching Fendi tracksuits, polished their knobs, kissed Andre goodbye, and zoomed away in their Kiss-themed Hummer H3. The destination? Men's Warehouse. But not without getting Ryan a bucket of buffalo chicken wings on the way. That boy could eat. Did a fucking car alarm going off during literature night? Shut the fuck up! After having put the wrong address in the GPS 2 times in a row, the boys finally made it. "We're here," Ryan pointed, flinging buffalo sauce onto the inside of the windshield and dashboard. Because it was their favorite color, the two parked their lifted Kiss-themed Hummer H3 in the blue parking space. And, what a treat, it was only feet from the entrance. The serf that was on duty held the door open for Matt and Ryan, nodding in delight at their swagger. "Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to Men's Warehouse. My name is Peter. How may I assist you?" "2 suits, please. And take a look at these." Matt handed Peter the glistening $15 off coupons. Peter's eyes bulged out of his head in awe. My, oh my. Right this way. Over the course of the next hour and a half, the two best friends tried on every suit in the store, mixing and matching colors, testing out bow ties, and even trying on some of the children's suits for a good laugh. As the afternoon ticked away, it seemed like they had tried on everything. "I don't know, Ryan," Matt said. "None of these suits are really speaking to me." "Me neither," Ryan confessed. You two have tried on every suit from here to Timbuktu." That's Timbuk, the number 2. Peter looked at the two men with his beady little bug eyes. "I'm really not sure what to tell you." There was a silence between the men, a cloud of disappointment hanging above them. Peter paused and shifted his eyes left to right, making sure no one was within ear's reach, before timidly speaking. "We don't usually do this sort of thing, but there is one more pair of suits that we keep in the back." Matt and Ryan's eyes lit up with curiosity. With a small bow, Peter pranced like a Nancy boy out of sight behind a curtain. The boys gleamed with smiles of joy. What could it be? "Oh, gentlemen," Peter hooted, "how's about you two try these on for size?" I'm not kicking anyone out of class. You guys feel free to talk amongst yourselves. It does not bother me. You guys enjoy your time here. Chat with one another. It's totally fine. If I happen to miss something, though, with all the chat, let me know. If you guys redeem a hat change or a hydration or, God forbid, a 1984, let me know so that I can give you what you spent your points on. But until then, yeah, feel free to discuss amongst yourselves. Enjoy your time here. Can we have a Reddit reading What? Sure, send me something to read right now. Send me a link to a Reddit thing right now, and I will read it for you. Also, I know you guys like this hat. There's only one other hat. There's only one more. And then we're going to start cycling through the older ones. There's only one other hat. So just letting you know. There are more, but I couldn't find everything. These are all the ones I could find. It was a joke. Fuck you. Also, this was a gift from my grandpa, can you tell? I think it looks okay. Peter stepped out from behind the curtain, brandishing the two most beautiful suits that Matt and Ryan had ever laid their eyes on. God damn it. Is that, yeah, that link is gonna show up. That link is gonna show up, yep, okay, Mods, can somebody delete that message? Mods, please? Thank you. It's fine. The suits were a goddamned sight to be seen. These simple printed words on paper do no glory to the magnificent allure that the two suits possessed, and soon Ryan and Matthew would be the lords of it all. The suit jacket was a masterpiece worthy of the old masters. When the light hit it just right, a religious man might swear he could see the face of God. Crafted from the pelt of a western lowland gorilla, the fabric was a deep black tinged with the faintest hints of silver. Is that what I... Can y'all Google what a western lowland gorilla is, and also... unrelated, Google what Harambe was? I just need to know for science. The interior of the jacket was somehow even softer than the outside. It was crafted from the facial skin of the elusive Chinese panda. The pockets were lined with an exquisite supple fabric, tanuki belly. The buttons, a rich shade of beige, were each made from a different tusk of the mighty Sumatran elephant. It stunk to high heaven. Next, the gaze was drawn to the trousers, and, by God, they were a force to be reckoned with. Hand-stitched by skilled orphan laborers from the hides of both Amur and clouded leopards, the eye delighted in their glory. Finally, the ensemble was completed by a pair of socks. But not just any socks. Boy, howdy were these suckers slick. Made from the skin of the Hawaiian sea turtle. The wearer was instantly transported to the kingdom of heaven, their feet cradled in pure bliss. Still basking in the warm glow that was the majesty of the suits, they browsed a catalog of shoes, eager to find the right match for their outfits. Immense sadness washed over Ryan as he realized they would probably have to wear closed-toe shoes. Peter noticed Ryan's sorrow. "Don't look so blue, Mr. Magee. I think we might have found us something a little more your style." And there they were. The most breathtaking pair of slides Ryan had ever seen, with his perfect, drooping little eyes.
Now, these slides have quite the story, but I won't bore you with the details. Just know that using both the horn and hide from the southern white rhino, these babies are nothing short of the highest quality, Peter said. Ryan was speechless, letting his gaping slack jaw and drool do the talking. I can see someone is pleased. Which brings us to you, Matthew. With a twinkle in his eye, Peter pulled a small rope. An elaborate contraption roared to life, parting a pair of tiny velvet curtains. For only the second time in his young life, Matt was speechless. Behind the tiny curtains, on a tiny stage, sat a tiny pair of shoes. Shoes that had been whispered about for generations. That men had gone to war for and come home to their wives, changed and silent, passing the tale down from father to son, until the line between truth and legend was blurred. That's right, Skechers. Light-up edition, of course, and spray-painted silver, Matt's second favorite color next to blue. And with that, their wardrobe was complete. Finito! Using the $15 off coupons, they left paying only a measly few $100,000. Dappered up and buckled safely in their Hummer, the boys knew they would have to race through the city to make it to the showing on time, so that's just what they did. With every red light they ran, the duo unknowingly raced toward their destiny, a time when the good boys would shape the very course of mankind. Would they have gone any slower had they known the nightmare waiting for them at the end of their journey? To quote Denzel Washington in their favorite movie, maybe. Anyways, that was 4.5 minutes of silence because I thought it would be funny. Chapter 5. The Premiere. The urban landscape whizzed by as the Kiss-themed Hummer H3 gunned through the city. "Look, do you see that?" Ryan exclaimed, pointing his meaty index finger skyward, cracking the windshield. I do! In the sky before them were dozens of spotlights waving back and forth. Excuse me, listeners. That's the premiere! Faster, Ryan! I skipped like a couple words, whatever. Matt shrieked as Ryan applied max force to the accelerator. Stop sending me things. A colossal 12-story poster for the taking of Pelham of I-23 2009 action thriller film hung on the side of the tallest... Just had a typo. $30 book, by the way. Ryan noticed the poster had an error. Mistaking John Hamm for John Travolta. Easy mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. Knowing he was right, Ryan didn't let it bother him. Again, the boys parked in a blue-painted space to conserve time since they were fashionably late, as usual. They entered the theater, sweating profusely from their light jog. All eyes turned to them. A cacophony of shrieks and applause filled the lobby, making both Matt and Ryan blush like a child bride on their wedding day. They gave a regal wave and departed for the snack bar, where they both got a large tub of Orson Wellenbacher's popcorn, doused in maple syrup and an extra-large Coke with some added sugar. Matt poured a bag of peanut M&Ms and a few coffee creamers into his beverage to top things off. The pair was prepared for a night on the town unlike any other, perhaps the best night of their short little lives. After being asked to leave because they were at the wrong theater, the two finally arrived to the correct destination and were able to sit down in their reserved seats. Decorations themed after the taking of Pelham I-23 2009 action thriller film littered the room and were draped along the walls. Ryan was vibrating with excitement, and Matt was sweating like a bitch in heat. After what seemed like eons, the lights began to dim. The moment was nigh. Matt and Ryan squeezed one another's hands as tightly as they could. Even though the theater was packed tighter than a World War II tin can ration of sardines, an anticipated hush fell over the crowd. Not a single breath was breathed. Then it happened. The radiant light of the projector filled the screen. Columbia Pictures proudly displayed their logo as Ryan non-sexually rubbed his penis in delight, feeling a... Sorry, listeners. A little thing stuck in my throat. The radiant light of the projector filled the screen. Columbia Pictures proudly displayed their logo as Ryan non-sexually rubbed his penis in delight, feeling a bit of pre-ejaculate stick to the inside of his potentially soiled boxer briefs. The soft purr of the projector illuminated the opening frames, casting a mood of tension and wonder throughout the auditorium. "Here we go," Matt whispered to his pal. And there it was. The movie had begun. Snap! The projector cut off and the room went black. Pitch black. An eerie silence filled the dark space. Matt and Ryan held their breath as hot surges of adrenaline pumped through their frail and malnourished bodies. "Matt, what's going on? Where's the movie, man?" Ryan asked, his breath warm upon Matt's earlobe. "I don't know, Ryan. I'm scared." Unsnap! The lights came back on. The room was empty. Not a soul in sight. All that remained were Matt and Ryan, sitting in their nice-ass suits. The film screen began to roll up, and the stage behind it came into view. "What the hell is going on?" Ryan blurted out in shock. He grasped Matt's arm tightly, cracking Matt's weak, porous bones. "I think I can answer that," a deep voice called from backstage. The duo sat petrified in fear, their hearts still. "Well, well, well. Who do we have here? Matthew Watson and Ryan Magee. You two sure are hard to get a hold of," the mysterious man said. Illuminated by a single spotlight, a man in a suave black suit and dark sunglasses stepped out from behind the curtains. "I'm in the mood for a nice Sunday drive. What do you say, boys? Want to take a ride?" Matt trembled, croaking out a confused, I mean, who are you?" "Don't you worry about that just yet. You're in good hands. Now how about that ride?" Ryan and Matt suddenly noticed armed gunmen, potentially Puerto Rico or Dominican, entering the room and forming a perimeter. "I think we better do as they say, dude," Ryan said to his partner. The two stood up from their seats, leaving behind the tub of Rick Owenmeyer's popcorn and the 2 glasses of overpriced red wine they had purchased from the concession stand. "Very good, boys. My associates will lead you to the vehicle. Let's have some fun," the man said, walking off the stage. Two armed men, presumably of Puerto Rican or Dominican origin, led our protagonists out the back doors of the theater. Waiting just outside in the back alleyway was a sleek black Escalade with tinted windows and spinners. Badass. One of the men opened the back seat door and gestured for Matt and Ryan to hop in. The two climbed hurriedly into the car, and the door shut behind them. The vehicle peeled out of the alleyway, doing 3 donuts before taking off down Sunset Boulevard. Ryan and Matthew stared out the car window to the road ahead, scared and uncertain of what would come next. Little did they know, that road was leading them into a nightmare. Okay, Sarah, no problem. Hello, Tyler. Welcome to the stream. Next hat, you got it. I gotta, make this one shorter. Okay. They're not in order now, so it'll just be a random hat. You guys enjoying the read so far? If you are, what's your favorite part? My favorite part was when they spit on the valet boy as a prank. That was funny. Chapter 6. Proposition. The Escalade tore through Los Angeles with incredible velocity. Inside, our boys found themselves sitting across from the black-suited man who had been silent since the ride began. The smell of mothballs and expensive cologne filled the air. Finally mustering the courage to speak, Matt asked, "So what's the big idea?" "For real, dog. You interrupted one of the greatest nights of our lives. For what? A joyride through Skid Row in this 2017 Cadillac Escalade Premium Luxury?" Ryan chimed in. The man tipped his sunglasses down to get a proper look at the boys. He chuckled to himself. "You two are a couple of hard motherfuckers to reach, you know that? We've tried just about everything to get your attention. Consider getting cell phones, perhaps." "What are you, 80 years old?" Ryan barked. "No one uses those fossils anymore," Matt said, adjusting his pager on his belt clip. "Believe me, we only use the anniversary screening as a last resort. We wouldn't have gone to such drastic measures if it wasn't for the utmost importance." Matt sat straight up, now angered. "Give us one damn reason why we should listen to what you have to say. We don't even know who you are." The black-suited man shifted slightly, trying to choose his next words carefully. "The name's General Jeffrey Dunham. And to get down to brass tacks, the United States military is in need of your assistance. The boys looked at each other, eyes wider than... Yo, mama, gotcha! Gentlemen, I'll be direct. We found ourselves in one hell of a pickle, and if word gets out to the general public about our predicament, the military can kiss that $25 billion budget increase goodbye. Ryan oafishly scratched his head. Military? What the hell are you on about? General Dunham looked out the tinted windows and lit a big cigar, thick smoke filling the cabin. He puffed at his tobacco monolith of status for a few moments in contemplation. Matt and Ryan's eyes were now watering, red from the sting of the cigar smoke. Taking a final drag, he flicked the cigar out the window, unaware it was closed. It bounced to the floor, slowly burning a hole in the carpet. He looked back to Matt and Ryan. We have a problem. A big one. With a stare, he looked down at his palms. This gesture could have been anxiety, but from the man's demeanor, the boys knew better than to think that. Dunham sighed deeply and locked eyes with both of them at the same time. With one eye on Matt and the other on Ryan, he began to speak. 2 weeks ago, one of our nation's top secret freedom fighter factions went missing deep in the mountains of remote Pakistan. This group, dubbed SEAL Team X, was on a mission to kill the American people's #1 enemy once and for all, Osama bin Laden. Wait, Osama bin Laden passed away peacefully in 2011, right? Matt inquired, in a cautious tone. Yeah, and the Pope is a Jew. Osama bin Laden's death in 2011 was nothing more than a false flag operation by the Obama administration to get some brownie points for re-election. You think the United States military actually has the capability or organizational skills to take out one specific man on the other side of the world? Dunham snorted. After we faked his death, he knew we'd be coming for him harder than ever to avoid the secret getting out. That motherfucker is the messiah of hide and seek. We'd send 10, 20, 30,000 ground troops in. We'd obliterate a whole Middle Eastern country while singing Yankee Doodle Dandy. None of it worked. That son of a bitch has evaded every spider eye of Uncle Sam to date. So allow me to ask you a simple question. General Dunham paused for a brief moment, the gravity of the situation pressing down on Matt and Ryan, before he continued. Are you Americans?
Are they, listeners? What do you think? Do you think Matt and Ryan of Supermega fame are Americans? Amen, Borther. Without hesitation, Matt and Ryan nodded in sweaty agreement. Ryan leaned forward, determination glinting in his eyes. General Dunham, there is no man, woman, or child that I would not kill for the United States of America. Dunham cracked a grin.
That's what I like to hear, boys. President Biden has been drone striking the shit out of the desert trying to kill this bastard. Bin Laden.
I'm gonna read and pronounce this as best as possible to what they write in the book. That was Ben Laden. Ben. Ben Laden, before the truth gets out. However, we've hit a snag. You see, on multiple occasions, Biden accidentally ordered strikes on the wrong country. We thought we were blasting Pakistan. Turns out it was one of the other stands. We never figured out which one. Luckily, no one noticed, as usual, so the cover isn't blown just yet, but we still face a massive roadblock.
That is true. I believe that is true, Stevie. General Dunham stopped and gave Ryan a quick kick to the shin, noticing Ryan was dozing off before he continued. You boys want to hear some truly fucked up shit? Congress has only given the military a mere $750 billion this year. It's the sad truth, boys. The American military just doesn't receive enough financial support. General Dunham sighed remorsefully. He lit a new cigar and leaned back in his seat, contemplating, then continued to address the boys. We had to start thinking smart, and after reviewing our options, we were left at a crossroads. Plan A. Send a highly trained team of elite snipers and guerrilla fighters to search and destroy every person in their path until they caught that fucker. Or Plan B. Launch a nuclear warhead straight into the Middle East and find a new region to destabilize. While Plan B was tempting and obviously much more fun, Plan A was the cheaper option, so we took it. Months were spent preparing the team. We sent them into intensive programs, exercising non-stop, training them in the most brutal conditions, shooting stray dogs, learning to operate machinery to locate oil reserves. They were a tidal wave of pure, hot, unadulterated American muscle, uncut. They were uncut. We sent them off a few weeks ago, and things were looking like peaches and sour cream. But 1 week later, as they ventured into the mountains with a potential lead on bin Laden, we lost all contact. General Dunham bit his fist, jaw clenched. Now, we fear the worst. That they've been captured and are being held prisoner by bin Laden and his gang of Al-Qaeda hooligans. We need someone to shoot that Nancy boy dead and bring our troops home. As the most successful and rich YouTubers in the world, you are the only two men that the United States government can trust right now. So I have one final question for you. Do you accept this mission? Tyler, I don't know if you were in chat at the time. I don't think you were. One of them is wearing a suit jacket that we believe is literally made from Harambe's hair. Yeah, they got it at Men's Warehouse, I believe, for $15 off. So that's where we're at. Oh, next hat. You got it. I just lost my place in the book. Got it. Do you think they'll accept the mission, guys? What do you think? The tension in the 2017 Cadillac Escalade Premium Luxury could be cut like warm butter on a hot summer's day. Matt and Ryan looked out the window of the vehicle, seemingly staring beyond the buildings and traveling to a place beyond the current moment in time. After a moment, the two looked at each other and locked eyes. They knew exactly what the other was thinking. They could do that thing from Spy Kids 2, The Island of Lost Dreams, where they could read each other's minds. With a slow turn forward, holding hands, Matt and Ryan looked at General Dunham. In unison, they both spoke. Is the Pope a Jew? Of course, we accept this mission. Dunham cracked a small but enduring smile. The boys had just done the bravest thing men could ever do. They signed away their rights to the American military. But what they didn't know was that they had just signed away their rights to a nightmare. Chapter 7. Patriots and Bubbles. I hope you guys are ready, because this is a good chapter. Matt and Ryan lay at opposite ends of the bathtub, Ryan clipping his nails, and Matt watching the rest of that Joe Rogan podcast clip he had been saving from earlier. The hoots and buzzes of a kazoo could be heard as Andre gently played on a stool in the corner. The Joe Rogan Experience eventually came to a satisfying conclusion, as did the final ballad from Andre's kazoo. Andre hopped off his stool, slipped on the wet bathroom floor, and cracked his skull open on the marble. He got up, stumbling back and forth, groaning in concussed pain, as Matt and Ryan thought more about important things. Finally, Andre had limped the perfect distance away to where he could no longer be heard whining. Silence graced the room and allowed the boys to truly enjoy each other's company. "You know," Ryan began, wiping his collection of yellow nail clippings into the tub, "it's a simple mission, in and out. We've been training our whole lives for this. The Let's Play's padded time for a bit, but I'm ready to do what God put us here to do. Kick ass." "I couldn't agree more, brother," Matt responded, releasing some bubbles under the surface. "Haha. These hands have been getting awfully soft in our days of successful bliss. It'll be good to throw a few knuckle sandwiches for Uncle Sam again." Ryan sent a playful splash at his friend. Matt splashed Ryan back with a cheeky snicker. "Glad to hear we're on the same page." "Always." The water became still, and so did the world. After draining the speckled and murky bathwater, the boys got ready for sleep, once again finding themselves in their bunks. "Ryan?" "Yes, Matt?" "After this mission, can you promise me we'll finish The Taking of Pelham I-23 2009 action thriller film? I can't go off and commit to this without knowing there's something to come home to when all of this is done." Ryan loudly leapt from his top bunk, shaking the room, if not the whole state of California. He locked eyes with Matthew. "I promise, my brother." They both saluted each other and held a patriotic gaze for what felt like seconds to them, but in reality had been another 7 minutes. Now it was time for them to rest their weary souls and catch some Z's, for it would be the last night they would share their bunk bed and its warm comfort. The last night they would be able to dream peacefully, because those dreams would soon turn into nightmares. Hi, Carson. How are you? Now, we have read, 46 pages. This is Act 2, The Jeopardous Journey. Or we could just end the stream. What do you guys want? Do you want more reading, or should we just go to bed? What do you think? Oh, wait a minute. I have another hat. Thanks. Oh, I need to adjust how I'm sitting because I've been sitting on my hip for like 30 minutes. Do a little trolling. It's true. The belt? What? What? What is the belt? Okay. Ugh. All right. Well, I'll read. Ready to accept death anytime? Go to fuck the bed. Oh. You guys saw that? Fuck. That's embarrassing. Yeah, I was stuck on the couch. Before starting the stream, I pulled not one, but 2 of my lettered cushions out from underneath this fucking seat. They get shoved in. This couch... Already it fell back in. Just an entire fucking cushion. It's awful. Hello, Sarah. Welcome back. Shall we continue, listeners? Again, sorry about my cats. They were totally fine for several hours, but as soon as I start reading, they're gonna go fucking nuts. Okay, Carlos. Goodness. Chapter 8. Really Cool Submarine. When Matt was a young schoolboy, he would often stay behind in class while the rest of the children eagerly rushed to the playground. A strange and melancholy child, he would find himself enveloped by a warm blanket of silence. Silence was a rare commodity in his life. At home, his mother was constantly fighting, not only with Matthew's father, but with her boyfriend too, covering his ears with his small hands to drown out the sounds of their shouts. Matt learned early that silence was precious. Dip the fingies? Guys? It is the L. Yeah, I am holding the L. No. The quiet of the empty classroom helped little Matthew's thoughts rest and breathe in peace. In the calm stillness, Matthew would take to the canvas. Painting, coloring, drawing, he would allow his dark inner visions to spill forth onto willing papyrus. The brilliant reds, the deep greens, the vibrant blues. The blues were his favorite. There was one specific Crayola crayon that stood out from the rest. Boo Boo Blue. Matthew loved this crayon with an adoration bordering on obsession. He would carry it around in his pocket every day, running his fingers over the waxy nub to soothe his violent thoughts. When he brandished this mighty weapon of art, the voices in his head would be quiet, and a stillness would wash over him. He remembered the hot June afternoons where he would lie on the carpet and color entire pages Boo Boo Blue. He could still feel the crunchy texture of the late 90s carpeting, the warm South Carolina breeze drifting through the open window, curtains dancing in the wind. Anyways, the sky was that same shade of blue as the boys sat back in the back seat of a military helicopter, flying like a bitch in heat. General Dunham quickly and literally snapped the boys out of their daydreams with a witty, "I identify as an attack helicopter" joke. God, was it funny, and Christ, did they laugh. Keanu Reeves is not going to fall in the candle. He's literally tacked to the wall. He's got 3 thumbtacks in him to keep him there. He's not going anywhere. I'm sorry. Can you guys get this hat off me? I don't like wearing a beanie inside. It makes me feel fucking weird. Now that I have your attention, let me give you a rundown of the first part of this mission. We'll be sending you boys via nuclear submarine to Tokyo, Japan. Upon arrival, you'll be meeting with informant of ours. Sorry, I forgot Dunham's voice. This informant has gathered some private intel that's too sensitive for text message or Discord. Plus, their skills will be of great use to you in the days ahead. Noted. What's this informant's name? Matt asked. All we know about this particular informant is that they go by the name Michael Richards, and that they're damn good at what they do. Copy that, General Dunham, Ryan asked. So where's the submarine you were talking about? Matt asked. A coy smile formed on Dunham's face as he said, "Look below." The chopper hovered in place. Dunham motioned for the guys to take a peek downwards. About 1,000 feet beneath them sat a 24-karat solid gold, diamond-crusted submarine with the American flag spray-painted tastefully on the side. There's your ride, fellas. You know I believe in you. What you're doing is noble and also very brave. Here's 2 government-issued cell phones so we can stay in touch throughout your mission. T-Mobile Sidekicks 2005 cellular phone, 128 megabytes, unlimited talk and text, used, good condition. Even has a slide-out keyboard. Pretty neat, huh, boys? He handed them each a T-Mobile Sidekick cell phone, which they tucked away in their pockets. Good luck, boys, and Godspeed. Thank you, Carson. Fuck! I didn't know I had this, but it's the first hat I grabbed. I didn't know I had... I thought I misplaced this. Here's a thicker beanie. Fuck. Oh, dude. That would be a good prank. To hold up a book and just be making shit up for like an hour? Can you imagine? I promise it's not. There's a book. It's even got a picture. Wow. That's great. T-Mobile, baby. Without warning, trapdoors opened beneath them, and the duo dropped from the helicopter. Matt quickly twisted his body into the most aerodynamic position he could muster. He sliced through the water like a graceful swan, avoiding injury. Ryan, on the other hand, found himself in a flailing spin. Before he could react, he slammed into the side of the sub, shattering his pelvis and coccyx. He tried screaming out in pain, but icy water shot into his lungs. Panic blinded him as his eyes rolled back in his head. Convulsing, he sank to the ocean floor. Thank you for joining me here today. Joining me next April for the next literary night. Thank you. Goodbye. After a short 2-week stay at America's finest military hospital, B.T. Bremer Memorial Hospital, Ryan was again ready for their mission. In celebration of Ryan's healing, Matt and Ryan both did 12 consecutive backflips. Now it was time to kick some ass. Because it was such a nice day, the two turned down a military helicopter escort and swam 35 miles out to sea to reach the submarine. Ryan and Matt walked through the submarine's sliding glass doors and were greeted by round after round of thunderous applause from the crew. The crew formed 2 lines on either side of the entrance, showering the boys with roses, confetti, and kisses. Giving each sailor a peck on the lips, the two made their way to the control room to receive their briefing. "Well, I'll be a son of a bitch if it isn't Supermega." A burly and handsome captain, decorated in a slew of badges and pins, emerged from the shadows. What's his name? What's his voice? I might change this. "It's an honor to meet you boys. My name is Captain David Jones, and this is my submarine." I don't even know what the fuck voice that was. It's an honor to meet you boys. My name is Captain David Jones, and this is my submarine." "It's an honor to meet you boys. My name is Captain David Jones, and this is my submarine." None of these voices sound good. Can't deny it. Yes, they can. They're super mega. What do you mean? Fuck. Okay. Next at. Where are we at? I haven't put Luigi back on. We'll do that one. Plus ratio, plus...
am once again asking for the release of the Toothed Redemptions.
Gee, thanks, Matt and Ryan said at the same time, blushing. Captain David Jones pulled a ciggy from his coat pocket and lit it up by snapping his fingers really hard on the tip. Damn! You two gentlemen are about to go down in the history books as America's bravest heroes. It's an honor to stand in your presence. My son is a huge fan. He even bought some of your awesome and insanely high-quality merch, such as the Kawaii Mega hoodie, from your website, www.supermegamart.net/shop. He wears that thing every single day. In fact, I do too. The captain unbuttoned the top of his uniform, revealing a Kawaii Mega hoodie. Now enough chit-chat. Uncle Sam has a mission for us, and by God, we're gonna see it through. Put this baby in hyperdrive, the captain commanded. The submarine began to pick up an astounding amount of speed, and the front panels of the control room parted, revealing a massive observatory window. Only inches of pressure-proof glass separated our boys from the deep black depths of the Pacific Ocean. The view was absolutely astonishing, and the boys had nobody else to thank but the American taxpayer. Thanks, reader! The sub was a modern marvel of luxury and efficiency. It cleaved through any sea mammal in their path, effortlessly slicing through a family of pesky manatees. Noticing Matt and Ryan's gigglish state of awe, Captain David Jones asked if they wanted to try something truly epic. Of course they said yes, so he led them to the center of the control room. The captain showed the boys all sorts of high-tech underwater weaponry, harpoons, lasers, invisible torpedoes, you name it, and they got to play with it all, blasting coral reef habitats to smithereens and mindlessly unloading dozens of torpedoes into the black nothingness. They even blew up a Taiwanese fishing trawler. Whoops! Can you believe each one of these babies costs about $4 million? Captain Jones chuckled to Ryan as he shot a few more off. After using up all the artillery, the fun was over, and it was time to relax with a nice warm shower. However, this shower was about to be the last dream in a sea of nightmares. Sorry, what? However, this shower was about to be the last shower, because what awaited them was a sea of nightmares. Oh shit, next tab. Ugh. I like this one. It says Gamer Dad. Chapter 9. Big Richard. Rub-a-dub-dub. It was time for some suds in the tub on a sub with some buds. Ryan eagerly twisted the large metallic shower knob and dropped his trousers, giddy with anticipation. While waiting for the water to warm, Matt stripped down to his penis and... I don't know what you're talking about. I don't get humor. Nobody influences my humor. Especially not Supermega. While waiting for the water to warm, Matt stripped down to his penis and balls before helping his partner do the same. When they saw the steam rising, the boys knew it was time to hop on in. Splish splash, Ryan shut his eyes and rolled his head back, allowing the hot water to soothe him. It ran from the crown of his head down to the crown of his toes. Because of the limited space in the sub-shower, Matt sat on the floor below Ryan and let the runoff from his pal rain down on him. He stuck out his tongue and playfully caught the water drops as they dripped down from the bell end of Ryan's non-erect penis. Matt was not erect either, because these guys aren't gay, and they want you to know that. Suddenly, there came a rap-tap-tapping on the chamber doors. "Who is it?" Ryan called. The doors slowly opened, and Captain David Jones peeked his head in. "Wow, looks like you two sure are having a fun time on my submarine. Mind if I join you boys?" he asked. Matt and Ryan immediately locked eyes with him in excitement. "Of course, Captain!" "Great, let me take off my uniform and put it in my locker." Captain David Jones opened his locker and neatly folded his fatigues and Kawaii Mega hoodie. His clothing removed, he turned around with a big grin and called out, "Ready or not, here I come." The captain shimmied his way into the steamy shower. Matt and Ryan cupped their hands under the nozzle, pouring handfuls of hot water upon the muscular man's upper torso and buzzed head. "Would you boys mind lending me a hand and help me shave myself? It's a little hard to reach certain spots, and God knows we have some fun doing it." "Duh!" the boys agreed in joyous unison. Matt and Ryan lathered the captain in some Axe 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash, and gently slid their razors across his toned body. With every stroke of metal, dollops of soap and curly blonde hairs plopped into the shower floor to be sucked away by the drain. After 20 glorious minutes, the captain's armpits, chest, and belly were free of fur. Now it was time to shift the focus below the belt. I have never seen this before in my fucking life, but that's an eyes emoji. I don't know if the camera's gonna focus or not, but that's an eyes emoji in the fucking book. Incredible. That's incredible. "My, what hairy legs you have, Captain," Ryan said with a chuckle as he massaged the man's rock-hard calves. I'm serious, there's a fucking eye. This is like, shift the focus below the belt. This is some fine literature, Jesus Christ. That, exactly. Jesus. Dude, at the beginning of the book, like the first 20 pages, there's an Matthew's Twitter is added. It's like at Matt H. Watson. Like, oh my god. And if you have the digital version, those are links that you can click on. Like, every time they link their merch, like, you can just click on that. You can't click a book. This shit outdated as fuck. Matt stood over Ryan, resting his twig and berries on his best friend's shoulder. The guys were having a great and heterosexual time bathing together, and it seemed like the fun was only just beginning. "Mind passing me some of that Axe 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash, bud?" Ryan asked. As Matt was reaching for the bottle, there was a resounding quake, followed by a loud series of bangs, bops, and pows. The submarine shook violently. Matt slipped and landed in Ryan's soapy lap. "Whoa, what the fuck was that?" Ryan exclaimed, holding his friend in fear. Captain David Jones was silent. He had a look on his face like he knew that something was very, very wrong. "Mary and Joseph H. Christ," he muttered under his breath. "What's going on? Are we in danger?" Matt asked, a tremble in his voice. Before the captain could answer, the submarine was rocked violently once more, this time with more intensity. The lights flickered and the emergency siren sounded. Naked and wet, the captain leapt from the shower and bolted straight out of the room. The madman didn't even towel himself off. "We gotta go help," Ryan yelled. Clothes could wait. They sprung from the safety of the shower and tailed the captain. The captain's booming voice echoed over the intercom through the corridors. "Emergency positions! This is not a drill!" Sailors were running left and right, frantically taking their battle stations. Matt and Ryan busted into the control room, parts dangling and dripping. The captain, still nude, was standing over a radar display, eyes wide. Great Barrier Reef. This is looking as grim as when Mr. Megorium was on his last pairs of shoes. Reference to the 2007 Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. He said while eyeing a rapidly approaching blip on the screen. What the F is going on? Ryan asked. It's Big Richard. Captain David Jones replied gravely. What's Big Richard? Big Richard is the most infamous bastard of the sea. He's a 50-ton sperm whale with the libido of an adolescent schoolboy, home alone with his stepsister. He's taken out over a dozen naval vessels since the night. He's taken out over a dozen naval vessels since the 40s. The 1940s. He turned to the boys with steely eyes. It's mating season, and we're his prime target. What? He thinks we're a partner for mating? Matt was in disbelief. Bingo. The captain took a step closer to Ryan and looked him square in the eyes. You know why they call them sperm whales? Ryan shook his head. Well, if we don't do something fast, we're all about to find out.
Carson, for twig and berries means, balls and penis. Boys, could you stop fighting, please? Could you stop, like, running around like crazy? Like tiny little horses? Could you stop? Disrespect? I'm not reading a Dr. Disrespect book. What the fuck? I appreciate you coming in and asking the question, but I'm not fucking doing that. Guys, I think I re-put on every hat. Oh, nope. I didn't put on the JoJo hat. Don't worry. Okay, bye. Thanks for coming in, Mike. Hope you have a good day. Buy me the book. We'll see what happens. He sat in his big captain chair and gripped the controls firmly with both hands. Matthew, Ryan, man the torpedoes. We're gonna have to blow this motherfucker out of the water before he blows us. Ryan sat down at the torpedo controls with Matt standing by in full support. Captain? We've got a problem, Ryan said slowly, apprehension rising in his voice. What? It looks like we're all out of torpedoes, sir. The captain spoke not a word. He stared at Ryan with a look that could only be described as a really scared, naked, grown man in a submarine control room with two other naked men who were also really scared and also famous YouTubers. Ryan stared back. We used them all earlier when we were goofing on those coral reefs. Silly little fishing trawlers. We're empty, sir. Zero. Zilch. Zip. Matt was trembling with fear. Fuck! What are we going to do now? We're dead meat! Another tremendous crash knocked the boys to the ground. The amorous beast was berserk and growing more passionate by the minute. If no action was taken, the boys and the crew of the SS submarine were as good as dead. No takebacks. I wish my book was signed. But it was printed in another country. In England. In British. No takebacks. No takebacks. With snot dribbling from their nostrils, the boys turned to the captain who had been staring out the window of the vessel, collecting his thoughts. He put his hand on the window, his palm highlighted against the deep darkness of the void outside the glass. It almost seemed as if he was longing to breach the other side and float to the surface, where there was sunshine and a sun waiting for his pop-pop. But that was just a fantasy. Down in the deep, there could be no peace. Not if he let Big Richard sink this vessel along with the two attractive young gentlemen tasked with putting the United States back on top. Captain David Jones knew what he had to do. Open the hatch to the torpedo tube, he said. But we're all out of torpedoes, Ryan objected. I know, replied the captain, walking to the weapons rack.
Then what the hell are we gonna shoot at this thing? You're looking at him, Captain David Jones said, as he strapped a dynamite vest to himself. Matt and Ryan made the classic surprised YouTuber thumbnail face. They both shouted in protest. But Captain, you'll perish tragically. You can't do this. I can, and I will, he answered, his chiseled jaw set as he climbed into the torpedo tube. What are you doing? Ryan cried out in shock. It's been an honor serving with you two, even if it was only for a short time, the captain said with a mournful sigh. There's a little something in my locker that will aid you on your mission. I was hoping to give it to you in person, but it seems God has other plans. There was the briefest of pauses, and a single tear ran down the captain's freshly shaved cheek. Okay, I'm ready. Fire! Emotional, like the little bitch he is, Matt screamed. No, we won't do it! That's a goddamn order. Fire! No! The submarine lurched sideways as Big Richard swam to face the vessel head-on. With a roar, he charged, cock bright red and veiny, ready to break into the observatory window. I said fire, goddammit! Matt and Ryan closed their eyes and smacked a blinking red button, sending a shockwave through the control room as Captain David Jones was launched into the sea. The tension in the room could be cut like warm, I can't believe it's not butter, on a hot summer's day. Everyone held their breath, especially Captain David Jones, because he was underwater. Big Richard and his Big Richard swiftly approached the vessel, like a groundhog scampering back into his hole. After seeing its shadow, Captain David Jones shot straight down the throbbing penis of the whale. Jesus Christ! He's gone into the shaft! Yelled the sailor boy. Big Richard stopped in place. All was still. What's happening? Why didn't the dynamite go off? Matt asked as he squeezed Ryan's hand tightly. Wait, there he is! Like a child trapped under a blanket at a sleepover, the perfect form of a struggling Captain David Jones could be seen fighting for his life within the whale's pink scrotum. The dark depths lit with a quick flash of light. The resounding blast of an underwater explosion pulsed through the control room as a shockwave tore cock from beast. Blood, semen, and the entrails of the man who had just sacrificed his life for the American people poured into the ocean. Matt and Ryan stood there, nude and wet. The gravity of what they had just witnessed dawned upon them. Lucky for them, this was a golden opportunity to once again make an unrelated tragedy about themselves. The two turned to the crew and raised a glorious salute. The collective fired a mighty salute back, and the entire submarine sat in a moment of reflection of the huge sacrifice Matt and Ryan had just made. The silence was broken with the entire crew simultaneously bursting into the Pledge of Allegiance. It was a beautiful yet heartbreaking moment. Kind of like when Brian Griffin was struck by a car and killed in Season 12, Episode 6 of the 20th Century Fox animated sitcom Family Guy. However, they ended up bringing Brian back to life only 2 episodes later, which was kind of dumb if you think about it. Like, I knew he was dead. He wasn't dead for good when they killed him, and I called it. They advertised the whole thing as Brian really dies for good and got, like, a lot of viewers upset. I knew all along it was just some marketing ploy to give the aging franchise a moment in the spotlight, a failed attempt to boost its ratings. Some losers cared so much that there was even a petition to revive Brian that garnered over 100,000 signatures. Others were so sad about Brian's death that they went and got tattoos about it. Yeah, I bet you feel real stupid now, you fucking assholes. He came back to life and wasn't dead for good. You stupid fucks. Have fun getting roasted on the Family Guy forums, you insufferable cunts. Matt and Ryan appointed themselves as the new captains of the ship. To any crewmates who dared suggest that there were more qualified members aboard, Ryan simply responded with, "Yo, mama," and even got an admiral who objected to the change in leadership with a swift, "These nuts." Out of sheer humiliation, the admiral immediately resigned from his position and went back to his quarters to take fentanyl and abuse alcohol. With only a few hours left to Tokyo Bay, Matt and Ryan returned to their chambers for a well-earned nap. They bundled up together and said their prayers and good nights. After the day's events, the two were gently rocked into a deep sleep. One where they could forget their pain and be free in their dreams. However, what the boys didn't know is that those dreams would soon become nightmares. I don't like that word. Yeah, there's a lot. Every single chapter, dude. Literally every single chapter. Why did you do 500 hip shakes? Wait, what do you mean you got... I just hit like the 400. How many hip shakes have you been doing, my guy? And who you doing them for? Yo, mama. Can I? It's hard to wear glasses and this. Me. Same. The fuck is a hip shake? Yo mama. Hip shake these nuts, Carson. How long have we been live? 2 hours? That means my music is about up. My music is about to run out. My classical music is it's still got 30 minutes. Okay, never mind. I don't know when we're ending the stream, but I'm just making sure. I will soon. Wait, what does that mean? Hello? Sir? Chapter 10. Row, row, row your boat. It's also page 69. Yeah. Stevie, when's our twerking stream? Don't answer that. It was morning. Or was it? The boys said... It was morning. Or was it? Hi, Vsauce. Michael here. The boys sat up from their bunks at the same exact time. The pain in each other's eyes could only remind them that the events of the day prior hadn't just been a bad dream. Watching Captain David Jones launch himself into the erect penis of a giant sperm whale was something they were not prepared to see. A man they had just shared their shower with, only moments earlier, had been turned into a big, stinky, meaty mess before their eyes. We'll be docking in Japan soon. Better get ready, Ryan said. They somehow mustered up the strength to put their clothes on, brush and floss each other's teeth, and make their way to Captain David Jones' locker to pay their respects. The boys opened their late captain's locker and took a peek at his belongings. Other than... Excuse me? I hope that didn't catch on mic. Other than his entrails floating in the Pacific Ocean, all that remained of the brave men was a neatly folded uniform, a Kawaii Mega hoodie, and an array of prestigious military badges, a Baby Groot Funko Pop figure, and a folded piece of loose-leaf paper. Knowing it's what the captain would have wanted, Ryan pocketed the Funko Pop for himself, and slipped the folded note into the pockets of his Walmart gym shorts. Well, we better lace up our boots and practice our conversational Japanese, he said to Matt as they closed the locker door. The boys walked through the corridor to the main control room. An admiral sat sipping a cup of hot coffee. I'm not making that up, that's what that says. Hey, Admiral, where do we go once we dock this morose and lugubrious submarine? You don't know what those words are, shut up. The man almost spat out his joke. Dock? Who said anything about docking? The Admiral asked with an imperious tone. This is a highly classified operation. You think we can just pull up to a foreign nation's water in a top-secret nuclear submarine and say, hi, diddly-ho? This solid gold diamond-encrusted submarine cost the American taxpayers $370 billion very well-spent dollars. No one can know if it exists. You dig? Ryan realized that he should probably take down the location-tagged photos he had posted of the submarine on Instagram. Well, if that's the case, how the hell are we getting ashore? Matt clapped back with a big toot. There will be a man waiting at the surface in a canoe. He'll row you two to the shores of Tokyo Bay, where you'll meet the informant who goes by the alias of Michael Richards. Are you patriots ready for this shit? They nodded in agreement. The Admiral shook both of their hands and wished them luck. Ryan hit them with a cleverly timed "these nuts," a hysterical fart sound effect, and then the boys were off. The two left through the front doors of the submarine and began to swim to the surface. My, oh my, how the waters of the Pacific were ice cold. Oof! Brrr! After becoming disoriented and accidentally swimming several hundred meters downward, Matt and Ryan made their way back to the surface. With a splish, a splash, and a couple of gasps, the two were pulled from the biting waters with the help of a meek-looking Japanese man. The man stayed silent, his face expressionless. Thinning black hairs were combed over his forehead, and he had a really nice shirt on. Matt could tell, even in the dark, that the shirt was of immaculate style, but he couldn't just see what it was until the moonlight hits it. It was a really cool Supermega sweatshirt that they had ordered from www.supermegamart.net/shop, and it looked like it was brand new. Even if it was old, Matt wouldn't have been able to tell because of the high quality of the garment. "Thanks for the lift, hombre," Ryan said, still shivering. However, the man spoke no English and only focused his attention to rowing forward. The harsh sound of Nyan Cat dubstep remix came blasting from Ryan's T-Mobile sidekick. 2005 cellular phone, 128 megabytes, unlimited talk text, used, good condition. Interrupting their peaceful boat ride, Ryan let it ring for several minutes, nodding his head along to the music. "Who's that?" Matt asked. Upon reading the caller ID, Ryan rolled his eyes. "Ah, jeez Louise, it's Dunham," he answered the call and put it on speaker. "Yellow?" "Matt?" "Ryan!" General Jeffrey Dunham's voice crackled over the phone. "I just got word of what happened. Is everything all right?" "We're fine. Can't say the same for what's left of Captain David Jones, though," Matt said. "As long as you brave boys are fit to continue the mission, his sacrifice was worth it. Are you still ready to be American heroes?" "General, who do you think we are? The Girl Scouts?" Ryan answered, playfully splashing the Japanese man. "That's what I like to hear. I'll be checking in from time to time. Make sure things are running smoothly. From what I can see, you two are nearing your next destination. Good luck, gentlemen." "Yeah, okay," Ryan said, hanging up the phone. Sheesh, what a clinger. In the distance, beyond the vast expanse of water, was the beautiful Tokyo coastline. The city was wrapped in a blanket of soft light that illuminated the sky around it. Lights of every color were flashing, spinning, blinking, and shit. Japan... I want to read that one again. Get the inflection right. Lights of every color were flashing, spinning, blinking, and shit. Japan awaited the two wealthy and privileged white men. Only a few more miles of an old Japanese man's labored rowing would get them there. 30 or so minutes passed, and the boat had quietly arrived at a small dock in an abandoned industrial shipyard. Matt and Ryan stepped off the wobbly canoe and planted their feet on solid ground. Ryan popped off a little toot in the Japanese man's face as he climbed out. Ryan hoped no one would notice, but boy was it stinky. Then, just as he had first appeared, the man rode back into the darkness without ever saying a word. Weird. Matt and Ryan turned to take in their surroundings, finding themselves standing in the dark outskirts of the shipyard. Cranes towered over them, their steel bodies piercing the night sky like leviathans rising from the deep. The rusted carcasses of abandoned shipping containers, stacked out on top of each other, stretched in front of them as far as they could see. Other than the buzz of summer cicadas and the distant hum of the city, the air was silent and still. Oh, it's not April Fool's anymore. Finally! I can get to the good book now. Hold on. Ugh. God. That shit was garbage. That shit was trash. Ugh. Alright. guys. We're reading JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 4, Volume 1, Diamond is Unbreakable. Okay. Looks like we have a guest. Would you like to come sit with me, Mr. Man? Come here. Hey there, buddy. How you doing? How you doing, mister? How you doing, Carlito? I'm surprised you're out here. I'm surprised. Surprised. He loves to lay here and just fucking stare at me. What a sweet boy. Okay. Thank you for coming and saying hi. And you can lay down next to me, that's fine. Where were we? Matt stood close to his pal's side. So we've made it this far. Now what? Ryan let out a deep sigh. I don't know. I think we're supposed to meet up with that spy or some shit, right? Yeah, but how do we find him? Found him. Came a voice from behind them. Startled, the boys whipped around. Then, before them, face obscured by the dim moonlit night, was a tall man, hands deep in the pockets of his trench coat. I'm glad you could make it, Matt and Ryan. I'm the one you've came here to meet, Mr. Michael Richards. He said with a tip of his bowler hat. His raspy voice had an almost familiar quality, but in the darkness there was no sign of who he might really be. Follow me. We've got some work to do. The Supermega boys paused and caught each other's eyes before cautiously following behind the tall, mysterious man. It would be a lie to say that they weren't a bit anxious of where they might be headed. A mixture of uncertainty and fear swirled through the two like shrimp on rice. Ryan grabbed Matt's hand and gave it a reassuring squeeze. United together, they felt unstoppable. unaware of the nightmare that was waiting for them in the not-so-distant future. Sorry, I'm still thinking about sperm whales. That's okay. Oh, Carson. Oh, Carson. You naive, sweet summer fool. Sarah's doing a little trolling. We're here for it. Now, I think... Let's see. This is a good chapter. Oh, it's only like 4 pages. Let's see. I don't want to read you the whole book. But I do want to leave the good stuff up for you guys to figure out yourself. But I think I will read... I'll read at most 2 more chapters. I believe. I'll get through chapter 11 and chapter 12. That's what I think. I don't know. I just think this chapter gives me Persona 5 vibes. Chapter 11, The Sad Clown. The bunker hatch closed with a cold metallic thunk. The man who went by the alias of Michael Richards pulled a key from his coat pocket and locked the heavy iron door behind them. The boys were deep underground in a bunker that could only be accessed via a round man's hole in the shipping yard. The smell of mildew overpowered the delicate sensibilities of the boys' nostrils, and a damp coldness seemed to emanate deep from the very earth itself surrounding the bunker. Discarded Polaroids of important Japanese statesmen and crumpled pages of decrypted codes littered around the floor. This was definitely some spy shit. Welcome to the hideout, gentlemen. God, give me 1 fucking second, because I want to at least make an attempt to get this voice right, but I don't remember how this voice goes. Just give me like 1 second. Oh, of course, this is the first thing that comes up on YouTube. Great. The mic actually muted, right? You guys didn't hear that? Jesus Christ, I would actually be banned. Wow. Woo! Oh boy. Okay, what a guy. What a fella. Okay. What a fella. 12 years ago. What a fella. Okay. Whew. No, you don't. I'll tell you later. It's okay. Just Google the name. Go to YouTube and type the name in. You'll know what it is. Welcome to the hideout, gentlemen. Michael Richards said as he reached for the string on a single light bulb hanging in the center of the room. With a yank, the light bulb flickered on. His back was to the boys as he shed his trench coat and hat, revealing a tousled head of dark curly hair. "So who are you exactly?" Matt asked, the mysterious gentleman's back still to the boys. He turned around slowly, revealing his face in the dim light. "I'm Michael Richards," said Michael Richards. "That's right, standing before Matt and Ryan, To their utter disbelief was Michael Richards. "Michael Richards? You work for the CIA?" Ryan stammered, still in the absolute shock and awe that he had just met the Michael Richards, the man who portrayed the zany character Cosmo Kramer in the hit sitcom Seinfeld, American television show, 1989 to 1998. "Surprise, surprise," Michael Richards said as he lit up a cream soda-flavored Swisher Sweet. Kind of looked like he was smoking a piece of poop. Haha. "You boys want to hear some shit? Get ready for this one." He began puffing away. "Seinfeld was a psyop, a test to control the masses through subliminal messaging in the media. Jerry never knew, poor bastard. He believed people actually thought he was entertaining. It was all done for one purpose, and I was the mole the CIA sent in to get it done." "Did it work?" Ryan asked. "Oh, yes, it worked. It's changed the course of human history far beyond anything you could comprehend. Natural disasters, election results, the deaths of celebrities and high-ranking politicians. It's all thanks to Seinfeld. After we wrapped the test in '98, I took some time off, traveled around, learned more about who I was. While on a Vipassana in Tibet, I came to realize that what I had been doing was wrong. I had been manipulating innocent people. I couldn't live with myself." He tapped his smoke against the edge of the desk, bits of ash sprinkling down. "So I quit. I left the CIA and took up a new passion, stand-up comedy. I love the stage, you see. Everyone at Central Intelligence knew that. It's why they chose me for the Seinfeld project. Telling jokes, making people laugh. It's a part of who I am," he said, pausing to take a puff from his swisher before he continued. "Or at least it used to be." He stared 1,000 yards into nothingness. It was dim in that bunker, but Matt and Ryan could have sworn they saw a tear forming. He took one last drag, dropped the cigarillo to the floor, and stamped it out. Things are never so simple. The CIA wanted me back. Needed me back. I was their best agent. I told them no. Told them I had that laugh behind. But they wouldn't listen. At some point after Seinfeld, I had parted ways with them. The CIA learned from old KGB documents how to use different frequencies to control the human brain. We're talking full control. What you say, what you do. Now, the CIA couldn't accept my answer that I was out. So one night they made me the subject of their greatest experiment yet." Michael Richards paused for dramatic effect. You should eat an orange. Oranges are good. Friday, November 17th, 2006. It was overcast. I remember it like it was yesterday. By then, I had known the CIA was after me. I had been living in paranoia for a few weeks, but that day I was feeling different. I felt happy for the first time in a long time. I had a gig that night at Hollywood's most prestigious comedy club, the Laugh Factory. I was tickled pink with excitement. I got on stage. The crowd was electric. Told a couple zingers. Threw a few curveballs at them. Things were going just peachy. Then, it all changed. A switch flipped. Literally. I could feel the CIA tapping into my brain. It was unstoppable. I tried to ignore it, carry on with my set, but the iron grip they had proved to be too powerful. They took total control and made me say a bunch of naughty words. Why, you ask? All in an effort to destroy my comedy career and pull me back in. Eyes wide, Matt and Ryan struggled to comprehend what they were hearing. Not even a heartfelt apology on Letterman could save me. I was done for, a goner. My career was about as alive as a dead person. Everyone I loved left me. They were just words, for Christ's sake. With nowhere else to go, I was forced to return to the agency. Now I've been back for almost 17 years. He swallowed hard and looked at his feet. It's just so unfair that those CIA bastards could do this to me and get away with it. And I'm not the only one. They've done this to countless great men. Mel Gibson, Mark Wahlberg, Don Imus, JonTron. Put more names of celebs who have said racist things later. But now, what choice do I have? He looked straight into Matt's eyes with a gaze that screamed broken yet undefeated. Cool story, bro. Tell it again, Matt memed. This made Ryan remember epic troll face, and he laughed. Ryan popped off a loud fart, causing Matt to laugh in return. The fart was very funny. So anyway, you were gonna share something with us to help get those troops back or some shit? Ryan asked. Yeah, let's get down to business, a red-eyed Michael Richards said. He sat at the table and pulled out his Dell laptop. Used 2002 Inspiron 4150 Pentium 4 processor, 1.7 gigahertz, I don't know what the fuck those stats mean. Matt and Ryan gathered around Michael Richards, unknowingly gathering around what was soon to be a nightmare. Does Dell exist? I don't know. I think. Are you gonna order somebody to, like, deliver you oranges? Sounds based. Oh, don't play that video. Yeah, if you guys want to know context, yeah, just look up Michael Richards on YouTube and click that first link of him at the Laugh Factory. That's what the CIA does to people. That's what they do, people. Sheeple, wake up. All right. This will, let's see. How many? Okay. I forgot to do the Amazon thing. Jordan, come on, go do that now. Jesus. This is last chapter, everybody. Cause my voice is getting a little hoarse. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 12. Little Richard. Do you get it? It's Little Richard. Isn't that funny? Cranberry orange. Cranberry juice. Cranberry juice pog. That's a singer. What? Little Richard is a singer? She doesn't know. She doesn't get the joke. The music still going? Okay, I still got time. Alright, guys. Chapter 12. Little Richard. Here. Right here. That's the spot. Michael Richards pointed his grimy sausage fingers at the old laptop. Displayed on the screen was a blurry satellite image of a beach somewhere along the French Riviera. What am I looking at? Matt asked, confused. That's where bin Laden's treasure is buried, Michael Richards said, printing out a black and white copy of the map and handing it to Ryan. You two go after that treasure, and you'll be damn sure he shows his face. Ryan nodded slowly, looking over the map. I get it. If he thinks something were to happen to his treasure, he'd have to come out of hiding to secure it. I heard, like, weird grumpy cat noises. And that's when we shoot him dead, Matt added. Exactly. The only surefire way to get this greedy little fuck out of the shadows and into a grave is to mess with his riches. He's got a treasure chest buried on this remote French beach, Michael Richards agreed. The room stewed in a moment of silence. Why France? Matt asked, curiously. He knew that no one would stumble upon his treasure if it was tucked away in the objectively worst, most boring, and overall worthless country on Earth. Why didn't he bury it in Italy? Ryan asked. The three shared a chuckle over their unified disgust in the Italian people. We love the Italians on State of Crisis. With a bleep and a bloop, Michael Richards pressed a button on his second-generation Apple Watch, and the walls revolved to display a slew of weaponry. From combat knives to swords, machine guns to slingshots, this nonce had it all. The guns were big, and they were definitely made for shooting bullets. Goddamned crazy son of a bitch was packing. And not just heat, if you catch my drift. The boy's jaws were on the floor. I take it you like what you see, a shit-eating wanker said with a toothy grin. And damn it, he was right. The boys did like what they saw. What red-blooded American wouldn't? Now, these firearms and weaponry were badass, to be sure. But they were so much more than just a way to look really cool in photos. They were freedom personified, tools to liberate the oppressed by force and shatter the shackles of tyranny all across God's green earth. This was a way to spray the world with the most sacred tenets of American democracy and bring swift justice to anyone who dared cross the US of A. The feelings of patriotic pride bubbled up so deep and strong within Matt and Ryan that they broke into a spontaneous rendition of Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA. As Matt and Ryan came to the final verses of this most beautiful musical ode to fighting to the death for America, their gaze was stopped by one particular merchant of casualty. It was astonishing. Before them was a gold 1851 Samuel Colt revolver. Etched in cursive on the side of the glistening barrel was a name. The name, you ask? Michael fucking Richards. "Hey!" Michael Richards shouted, spotting their greedy little eyes on the gun. The boys, lost in their rapturous admiration, jumped at his shout. "You can look, but you sure as hell can't touch." Michael Richards smirked. "That baby is mine. All mine, my precious. My go-to on any mission I go on. That sexy little bang stick has taken more lives than you could count. Ever heard of John Lennon? This is what single-handedly won us the Gulf War." He lit up another Swisher Sweet. This time, Banana Smash. Nice. Inhaling deeply, he admired his trophy and continued. "She goes by Little Richard. She's off limits. Got it, boys?" "Yes, sir," they begrudgingly answered. "Now all you have to do is send me exactly what you need for this mission, and I can make it happen." Michael Richards pressed another button on his second-generation Apple Watch. "There. I sent you the Google Docs link. Add whatever you want to the list." Luckily for Matt and Ryan, Michael Richards was so fucking stupid that he didn't notice Ryan swiftly grab and stow Little Richard away in his potentially soiled Walmart brand gym shorts. A few freckles past a hair, and the boys were in Michael Richards' guest bedroom to mull over a mission that lay before them. "You sure showed that stupid idiot Michael Richards. He can't tell us what to do." Matt cheered as Ryan paraded Little Richard around triumphantly. "I know, Matt. With his dinky little pea shooter, assassinating Osama bin Laden might be a bit of a challenge, but I believe in us." Clink clonk went the chamber of the gun. Like a pair of dim-witted baby bonobos, Matt and Ryan became very curious as to what could have produced this noise. It took them well over a few minutes, but they finally managed to pry that sucker open, only cracking the gold slightly. The source of the clink, and most certainly the clonk, was a single silver bullet inlaid with the initials M.R. "Whoa!" Matt screamed. "This cracker has bullets with his initials on them. Awesome sauce!" Ryan looked over to his straight best friend. His face was suddenly deadly serious as he said, "This'll be the bullet I used to end Benjamin Laden's life." Matt came to stand behind Ryan, wrapping his spindly arms around Ryan's thick frame so they could hold the gun as one. He leaned close to Ryan, their bodies pressed together, and whispered, "No, Ryan. This is the bullet we use to end Benjamin Laden's life." Ryan turned his head to look at Matt, leaning against his shoulder. The two locked eyes and smiled. "All right, bud. What do you say we get this murder mission started?" "True dat, gangsta." Ryan popped the single engraved bullet back into the chamber and stuck Little Richard into the deep pockets of his potentially soiled Walmart brand gym shorts. With the harbinger of euthanasia in their possession, the boys knew nothing stood in their way to enduring Bin Laden's life, not even stupid Michael Richards and his dumb rules. When I get to this part, if you guys are in chat, you know what's happening. I want you to say the word with me. Alright? I want you to have it ready. I want you to say it with me. If you're here and listening and at a keyboard, I want you to help me out here. Being able to take up this fight for the land they loved was a dream job for Matt and Ryan. How naive those sweet boys were, unaware that this dream job would soon become a nightmare. And that was chapter 12. So, do I have a bookmark or something? No, I don't read books. Why the fuck would I have a bookmark? I'll use this copy of Guitar Hero, a disc. I've got one in the bedroom. I'll fix it soon. Okay. Well, I've been reading aloud for 2.5 hours. I'll be honest. I'm a little tired. My voice box is a little rusty right now. Is anybody doing any fun stuff? Yes. Ow. 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 Leg cramp. Ow. Ow. Fuck. Ow. Yes, Short Yukon is playing Mario Kart. And it looks like maybe from the ooh. Ow, 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 leg cramp, fuck! Ow, 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 ow. It looks like it is some charity stuff. So I like to see that. I also like some Mario Kart. So we're going to go say hi to Shorty. Hang out there for a little bit. That's what I will be. If you guys want to talk to me, that's where I'm going to be at. So, thank you all for Literature Night. For joining me on Literature Night. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the book as much as me. If you want more, go buy the book. You got the link in here. Supermega store, supermegamart.shop/ I don't know. It's in the chat. Just fucking scroll up and find it. All right, guys. Thank you. Happy April. Go say hi to Shorty. Be nice. Bye. Oh, your fucking shit.